Nice to see you as always. Let's see if I can make a little room here. I got a lot going on this desk. Get rid of the gum, all the good stuff. We're going to wait, as we always do, for some people to hop on before we get going here. We're going to be talking about the full moon in Capricorn and doing a reading for these energies. We just came out of, I mean, we're still within the Syrian gateway, right? That's that first week of July, but we're still feeling those energies. We had the height of that. The 5th was when the sun came into conjunction with Sirius and into the 6th. And then we had the 7-7, we had Uranus moving into Gemini. So a lot of electric energy going on there. And Uranus will be, of course, retrograding back into Taurus, back to that point where we had that conjunction of Venus and Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus on the 4th of July, when we also had Neptune turn retrograde. I think I covered all of the biggest points here. So like we said, lots of stuff. We did a whole live stream on that last week. So if anybody wants to know more about that, go ahead and check out the live stream from last week. That will give you all the information on that specific week and just whatever was channeled for us as far as guidance goes. Now we're moving toward that full moon in Capricorn. That's going to be the closer of this energy, so to speak, really sealing in what has been a powerful and transformative week. Even if you don't realize it on a conscious level, there's a lot that has been transformed and that is transforming within you right now. So just know that. Take really good care of yourself with this Uranus and Gemini energy. Our nervous systems especially may be feeling it. So we need to take care of our adrenals, take care of our nervous systems, make sure that we are eating well, that we're supporting our bodies, that we're getting the rest as we can and where we can, that we are hydrating properly, doing all those things to support our bodies. Something really cool that I learned recently was that you can actually stimulate the vagus nerve, which helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system by humming. So every once in a while, especially if I'm getting stressed, I start humming to myself. And it helps to bring down that energy. So in addition to breathing, right, nice, slow, even breaths, humming can help to calm us down when we get more toward that fight or flight type of an energy. So I thought that was really fascinating and just another way that we can really work with our bodies and work with these energies as we're moving forward. I was getting the energy with Uranus and Gemini of this kind of like wired but tired sort of energy. And I think a lot of us, particularly those of us who have a little bit of adrenal fatigue going on, can relate to that energy. Like when you're trying to fall asleep and your body feels wired, even though you're tired and you can't. That's kind of some of the energy that we can experience with Uranus in the sign of Gemini. This is, of course, like we said, we're going to have downloads coming in. We are going to see a lot more communication with our star family, perhaps a lot more being revealed as far as the greater cosmos goes. We're going to be discovering more things that exist out there beyond where our perception has taken us before. It's a very dynamic, expressive energy. I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited for the revolutions in communication, in technology that we have coming through as well. There's just so much with this Uranus and Gemini energy that's honestly its own video in its own right, and I apologize that I haven't done that. I've been, like we've said, having to take some steps back to do some self-care of my own lately. And this full moon is very much about that. It's about balance, right? We're working with the axis of Cancer and Capricorn. And the Cancer-Capricorn axis is the axis of maturity. It's the axis of the masculine and the feminine. So balancing those dynamics, balancing those polarities. It's about the life-work balance, right? The homework balance, who we are in our internal world and who we are in a more external sense, right? The emotional truth versus the reputation, the perception. There's a lot of different ways that we can look at this energy and the different things that it's calling for. This is an axis of reparenting. So people who have a lot of planets along this axis, there can sometimes be a lot of childhood trauma. There can be a lot to work through with the masculine and feminine having to do with the mother and father energies, an absent mother or father perhaps, or just a lot of stuff going on with those energies. So this is where we get an opportunity to parent ourselves. This is where we get an opportunity to really look at what we received when we were younger and what we could have received a little bit more of, whether this is a little bit more love, a little bit more tenderness, perhaps a little bit more discipline as well, right? It's not always that we didn't get enough love. Some people got lots of love, but not enough boundaries, not enough discipline. You know, those of us who are parenting and going down that rabbit hole, right, where we really do end up having to learn about this and how it's so important to set boundaries with our children. And it gives a sense of safety, right? It gives rules to a certain extent, or at least like codes of conduct in some capacity, gives some sort of container that is really helpful for children, at least, you know. So some people never got that, never got any structure, and have to learn how to create that structure for themselves. Some people didn't get enough of that love, didn't get enough of that Cancerian energy. And some of us had perfect childhoods, right? And if you had a perfect childhood, then that may not be what you're dealing with when we're working with these Cancer, Capricorn energies. It might be something else. It might be the life-work balance. It might be the self-care, right? There's a whole different number of things. So you'll know how exactly this energy is impacting you. And of course, if you have planets within these, and I believe it's 18 degrees. I'm going to pull up my chart here. 18 degrees of Capricorn is the moon. 18 degrees of Cancer is the sun for this full moon. So if you have any planets around those points, then you're going to be feeling this even more intensely because it is having a connection there. So just know and be aware of that. But this is feeling like a really positive full moon to me. We have a lot of really beautiful energies going on. We have support from the nodes of fate coming in here. So we actually have what's called a mystic rectangle. And a mystic rectangle is when we have essentially a giant rectangle being created that has these beautiful trines going on here. So as we see, and I'm going to look at this as we're talking about it, we have sextiles and trines going on between the planets. And yes, there is an opposition between the sun and the moon, but the sextiles and the trines that connect the nodes and the sun and the moon really smooth out this energy. And it really helps us to come into alignment. Remember, the nodes of fate have to do with our evolution. So our personal nodes and our personal chart have to do with our personal evolution. When we're looking on a collective sense, this has to do with the collective evolution. And we as individuals are part of the collective energy. So like we're experiencing both at the same time, right? We're evolving on an individual level and a collective level. And the collective evolution is impacting how we experience our own personal evolution. So with the nodes currently within the north node in the sign of Pisces and the south node in the sign of Virgo, we're working with very soul-based energies here. The north node is calling us back to our soul, calling us back to our higher consciousness, to our compassion, to that higher soul perspective, and really helping to align us with our highest timeline. Our highest timeline being, and this is something that Spirit clarified for me recently, which I found really fascinating. Our highest timeline isn't necessarily the timeline where we're the happiest. It's the timeline where our soul is growing and evolving in the ways it chose to and desired to when it entered this life. That's our highest timeline. So just to keep that in mind. Now, can that also be the path where we're the happiest? Absolutely. Especially when we align our lower will, our egoic will, with our higher will, with our higher selves. And we've been working on this energy in earnest. We had all of those oppositions with Mars and Pluto, where we were really working with that energy, the harmonization of the lower will and the higher will, right? So we've been put through our paces when it comes to this energy. And the more we align our lower will, our human will, with our higher will, the more pleasant this journey becomes. So yes, our highest timeline from our soul's perspective is the timeline that is most aligned with our evolution. And why I say we might not be happiest in this timeline is because this is a timeline where we're growing the most, I should say. This is a timeline where we're learning the most. And that is not always a comfortable process. We just did the Patreon live call. And if you guys want to join the Patreon, the information is in the description box below. And we were talking about that energy of getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And that is essentially what it is. When we align with our higher will, we have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because uncomfortability is where change occurs. So, yeah. We're being very supported here in this journey. And with this Capricorn energy, this being a Capricorn moon, where we're really being asked to look at, where is our soul steering us? Where are we being asked to grow and evolve? What area of life are we being asked to step it up, so to speak? And what kind of strategy can we create to support that, right? Capricorn wants a strategy. Capricorn wants to set goals. And more importantly, Capricorn wants to accomplish those goals. All right, so this is very much a time of that. It's very much a time of reevaluation, of releasing and letting go where it is that perhaps we have an outdated plan, we have an outdated strategy that isn't working for us. You know, because Capricorn energy also says work smarter, not harder. All right, and this is a big lesson for a lot of us. I think this work smarter, not harder. So many of us may be seeing the ways that we have been out of balance when it comes to that, and how it is that we can come more into balance. Like we said, there is a balance. There's always an opposition here, particularly with the full moon, right? The axis is very activated because we have the sun and the moon opposite each other. So we're really being asked to find that balance of energies. We can get more done when we're also taking care of ourselves, when we're supporting ourselves, when we're nurturing ourselves with that Cancer energy. So really looking at that. Have I been, I don't want to say slacking off, but I don't not want to say it either. So we'll just kind of like put it there, right? From a Capricorn perspective, that is absolutely a thing, right? From our soul's perspective, maybe not so much, but we'll say, have we been slacking off, or maybe we've been pushing ourselves too hard? If we're perfectly balanced there, then kudos to whoever's watching this that is in that perfect balance. I am absolutely not there. Always working on it forever. Something that I was talking about during the Patreon call as well. And I want to take a minute to say hi to everyone. I know I haven't been shouting everyone out. I'm trying to streamline the viewing experience for people watching the replay as well. So I am going to stop and give shout outs and say hello to everyone. After we kind of move through this first part of talking about the energies of this moon, just know that I see you. I honor you. You are beautiful, each and every single one of you. And I'm so happy that you're here. All right. So as we're going on with this, we were talking about what? Balance? Oh, the Patreon call. And so on the Patreon call, why was I talking about that? Crap. See, now I gave the disclaimer and now I don't remember what I was talking about. We'll see. If it's meant to come through, it's going to come through again. We can always trust that. Right? It was this, okay, this is what it was that I was talking about. I was talking about this energy that I've noticed that I'm experiencing personal, and you guys can let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this on the replay, if this is something that you've been sort of working with as well, where we're getting to a point where some of the major evolutionary aims of our souls are really kind of coming to the forefront right now, like the soul contracts that really need to be completed. This is the fate portion of our incarnation. The way that I see and view incarnation is that it's a balance of fate and destiny. And the ways that we can see fate and destiny in our charts have to do with the ascendant being fate and destiny being our sun sign. That's one of the ways in astrology to view fate and destiny. We can also, of course, look at the nodes. There's lots of different ways to do this. But I've been finding it really interesting to play around with the ascendant and the sun sign. Fate is the blueprint that we came here to experience. Right? Destiny is also that, but destiny has a much more of a free will component to it. It's much more about what we decide to create. Whereas fate is what our soul decided to create before we came here. It's the soul contracts it signed on for. It's the lessons it came here to learn. It's the karma our souls came here to clear. All right. And with the nodes active during this full moon, we can really see that karma aspect being active as well. So we're really working with that energy right now. And remember, the greatest challenges that you came here to experience are the opportunities to cultivate your greatest strengths so that you can unveil your greatest offerings to humanity. However, that's beautiful from a soul's point of view. from the human ego standpoint, it really kind of sucks. So I think that there's a lot of starseeds right now. One of the themes that I think some of us are experiencing is where these soul contracts are coming online. These huge, challenging circumstances that our souls signed on for so that we could grow and evolve, so that we could then heal and offer this wisdom to the collective. That's really activating for a lot of us. And where it is that we may have been able to avoid through our free will, some of these soul contracts, some of these soul lessons, like that's no longer a possibility. So we're really being faced with that, and we're really having to grow and evolve and have those uncomfortable experiences. And there may be a point in time where we're really struggling with that. We're really, the free will part of us is like, why did I sign on for this? You know what I mean? Do I have to do this? Do I have to go through this? You know, and depending on what the initiation is, like some of us, there's really no choice involved. You know, if part of our initiation was children, there's once we make the choice and say, yes, I'm going to complete this soul contract, like that's it, we're in it, right? I mean, I guess we still have choices, but the majority of us on a spiritual path, like we're in it, right? The same thing when it comes to health issues. You can't really... Those maybe even from depending on how you're looking at this energy, like there is even less of a choice, right? Like, yes, there's a lot of nuance. We're not going to get into all the nuance. What I'm going to say is that some of us are able to run from and avoid our soul contracts more easily than others. But at the end of the day, we all are being kind of like forced at this point to sign on for those and to complete whatever that initiation was. But there's a reason for this, all right? It's not happening for no reason. Our souls didn't choose this struggle. They didn't choose this pain. They didn't choose whatever it is that you're going through individually. And I know we're all going through something, right? Your soul didn't choose that for no reason. It chose it not only because it was the way that your soul wanted to grow, but because there was a great gift within that. Not just for you, but for the entire collective. Because at this point in time, when we're moving through this incredible ascension window, nothing is just for us, right? This interconnectedness, this oneness, particularly with the North Node in Pisces right now, is really, truly felt, all right? And Pluto in Aquarius, another very collective energy. All right, it's everything that you are going through. It's a key not only for you, but it's a key that's going to open up doors for other people as well. Other people whose souls chose to struggle with those same things and who chose you as a guide through that energy. All right, those are soul contracts that are yet to be activated. What's required is for us to complete our own initiations first. And I'm going through this on my own personal level. It's actually a lot of that Cancer Capricorn energy, which is interesting. It's also a lot to do with healing my body, harmonizing my physical body, motherhood, parenthood. There's a lot of my own initiations that I'm going through right now that are really like, this is the time where we are facing those initiations that really push us, right? That really force us to grow, that force us to get really, really uncomfortable. So if you're in that place right now, if you are really, really uncomfortable, if you are going through things that your human would really love to avoid if there were any possibility, and if you're getting frustrated because there is not, just know that I'm here for you. Just know that I understand, and just know that this is all part of the collective energy that we are all navigating currently. So with this Cancer Capricorn energy and this Capricorn full moon, there's this energy of, one of the things that we were talking in the Patreon call was releasing this false idea or narrative that we are not capable. This full moon wants us to really embrace our capability. Whatever area you are struggling in right now, know that you are far more capable in this area than you realize. That's the initiation, right? Is recognizing that even though you may feel completely powerless, completely helpless, like you are completely out of your element, like this is all too much, you are way more capable than you realize. That none of that is real. None of that is true. Yes, you're being forced to realize and understand just how capable you are by being thrown into, from the human perception, seemingly impossible circumstances, highly uncomfortable circumstances, but there is no such thing as the impossible, right? Uranus and Gemini is going to help teach us that. So many aspects of this experience right now are going to help teach us that. Whatever you're struggling with is there to help teach you that. So we're all rising up. We're all leveling up right now. Remember, Capricorn energy is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn asks us to mature. Saturn is about self-mastery. So where are you being called to step into a greater level of self-mastery right now? You know instantly. As soon as I asked that question, you knew. All right, it's not something you have to think about. You know, because it's wherever you're struggling the most in life right now and whatever you're struggling the most with. Right. There's a lot of beautiful energy here to help us within this full moon. Of course, we talked about this mystic rectangle. Mars is loosely conjunct the South Node. It's pretty loose. Mars is at 13 Capricorn. The South Node is at 20 Capricorn. Or not, sorry, not Capricorn, Virgo. All right. So this is loose, but Mars is here being supportive in the sign of Virgo, really helping us to accomplish the things that we came here to accomplish, really giving us that ability to zone in on those fine print, on those fine details, to really focus, have that laser focus in some area of life. So utilize that energy, utilize that ability to laser focus and choose an area. Don't overwhelm yourself, right? Choose one area of your life where you can have that laser focus and energy toward what it is, where it is that you are wanting to develop that mastery right now. All right, and with this South Node energy, remember the South Node, yes, it is really is helping us release, right? So it's moving away from certain energies, the lower vibration of the sign. So in Virgo, this is procrastination. Yes, Virgo does procrastinate sometimes. The shadow aspect of Virgo. Why is this? Because of perfectionism, right? So it's releasing perfectionism and the resulting procrastination. That's a big energy here. The self-judgment, all of that. It's also learning how to take care of the self properly. It's that energy of service, really understanding how to be of service in a way that does not disservice the self or dishonor the self. All right. And when I say dishonor the self, what do I mean? We dishonor ourselves when we agree to something that doesn't resonate with our soul. We dishonor ourselves when we refuse to speak up because we're too afraid of being judged. We dishonor ourselves when we take on too much and we don't take care of ourselves, when we put everybody else in front of us to the point where we burn out. All right, all of these things dishonor ourselves. So it's that energy, learning how to honor ourselves is a big part of that South Node in Virgo energy, and clearing the lifetimes and the karma related to when we didn't honor ourselves. All right, there's a lot more with this energy, but we're just looking at some of the fine points here. But this is also about reclaiming past gifts, right? Because this is connected to past lives, past energies. This is not just our comfort zone with the South Node, but it's where we naturally excel because it's an energy that we've worked with in the past. All right, so there's a lot of gifts within Virgo energy. Virgo energy is the healer. All right, it is the energy of making the self better, of evolving, of purifying, of alchemy in a sense, right? We always think of Scorpio as the alchemist, but in a lot of ways, Virgo is a master alchemist as well. Virgo energy and Scorpio energy, in my mind, actually have a lot of similarities, right? Scorpio energy may go a little bit darker or more occult, I guess you could say, right? A little more esoteric. But Virgo energy, because it's ruled by Mercury, it can get dark too when it gets stuck in the head. All right, so this is about releasing ourselves from the trap of the mind. And Virgo energy, the sixth house, ruling the sixth house, has a lot to do with movement as well. So there's something here Spirit's bringing through about movement, about really looking at the ways that we're holding energy. And this is very Cancer as well. All right, and allowing that energy to move through us. This is something that's been coming up a lot for me, whether this is exercise, whether this is stretching, whether this is just somatic breathing and movement, really working with that energy of movement and paying attention to what it is that we are carrying and making what it is that we're taking on. Remember, Jupiter is going to be in Cancer for the next year. We also have the sun in Cancer right now, very active within this full moon. As we said as well, Cancer energy is the energy of the empath, right? It is very emotional. It is very intuitive. So it does tend to take on a lot, similar to Pisces, where we have that North Node right now. So we want to make sure that we are curating our energy carefully. We want to make sure that we are clearing our energy on a regular basis. We want to make sure that we are just really being good custodians of our energy and practicing, as we like to say on here, proper energetic hygiene, so to speak. So we've got that energy with the support of Mars there. We also have here, as I look at my chart, I want to see there is a quintile going on. It's a quintile or a biquintile. The symbol for both on my chart really looks the same, and they kind of have the same energy. There might be somebody who hops on here and strongly feels differently about that. So pardon me if I'm misspeaking. And the way that I feel the energies, quintiles and biquintiles are pretty much the same. And so one of these, the big Qs, right? Connecting the moon to Saturn and Neptune. So and Saturn is the ruler of this moon, being the ruler of Capricorn, right? So there's a beautiful quintiles and biquintiles are all about our natural gifts and abilities that may be subtle, that may go unnoticed, but we're getting a real chance to activate that. So there's something within this, and within that moon in Capricorn, it's something within our feeling nature, something within our bodies, something that is lying dormant within us, some gift or ability that is really wanting to come online for us at this time, that we're getting an access point to through that Aries energy of action, of risk taking, of being that self-starting, initiating force, particularly when it comes to the spirit with Neptune here, right? Neptune and Saturn conjunct in Aries. So there's like some sort of spiritual empowerment, right? Because Capricorn's a very empowering energy as well. An emotional empowerment with that Capricorn energy, coupled with this spiritual empowerment that really allows something really beautiful and creative to be birthed, if we are willing to do that. But it comes from being willing to look within our emotional nature. It comes with connecting to our bodies, with connecting to our intuition, and seeing what naturally is birthed from that process, that experience. So like I said, Spirit's showing me like rituals that we can do around this full moon that have to do with like somatic breath work or breathing, dancing, stretching, moving, and having a period of this natural flow that taps us into our bodies, and then coupling that with something like automatic writing, where we sit down, we put a pen to paper, and we just write in a free flow of consciousness. Something like that, doing some sort of ritual that incorporates this, that helps to bring this forward. Or if it's not automatic writing, it could be drawing, if you are somebody who enjoys drawing, creating music, doing something artistic or creative after a period of this flow, of this tapping into our bodies and tuning into our bodies. So I think that's really interesting energy coming through. We also have here Pluto in a square to Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. So Pluto in Aquarius, Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio. And Pluto is at 2 degrees. So Pluto is in his retrograde currently, very tightly in conjunction with the fixed star Altair. And we talked about Altair a lot in previous live streams. This is the energy of the eagle, the flying eagle, part of the Aquila constellation. Altair is a star system that was compromised by negative polarization, service to self energies, by manipulation and mind control, who is in a war for their freedom, just as we are on planet Earth, just as Orion and many of these other star systems are. And it's really the same entities or underlying energies here, right? And so it's really interesting. There's this energy of sovereignty, of reclaiming our freedom with Pluto over this point. Altair also symbolizes leadership and that journey of self-initiation and activation that allows us to be competent leaders. So this is interesting. What is holding you hostage right now? What are you allowing to hold you back at this time? What is preventing you from embracing the truth, the knowingness that you are free. And what can you do to break out of that energy, to set yourself free? How are you being invited to set yourself free at this time? That's what Pluto here with the star Altair is asking us. And with this square to Black Moon Lilith here in Scorpio, this has to do with the parts of ourselves that we've repressed, the parts of ourselves that we've been perhaps made to, made in the sense of conditioned to feel shame about, right? This could have to do with our sexuality. This could have to do with different aspects of how we express our divine feminine energy, of how we express our truth, and sort of that raw and unbridled aspect of our being, right? The freest aspect of our being. Black Moon Lilith is a very freeing energy, or she can be. She can represent extreme repression or extreme liberation, depending on how she is experienced. So this is about embracing the taboo aspects of our own nature and bringing that shadow into the consciousness, integrating that into the consciousness. This is absolutely a time where addictions are coming to the forefront as well, right? I'm dealing with my own energies there. Anyone who follows this channel and has for a while knows that I am in recovery from substance abuse. I was a heroin and you fill in the blank addict for a good almost 10 years of my life. All right. I've moved through many things. I recently quit smoking. That was a major addiction for me. I'm still getting my equilibrium back from that. I had a relapse on the smoking recently, and that was when I actually had to cancel the live stream. I didn't tell you guys the whole story, I don't think. But my body, when it's done with something, is really done with something. So when I started smoking, it took less than a week and less than a pack of cigarettes for my entire mouth to become inflamed, full of canker sores. It was insane. Like, people didn't even believe me that it was related, because it seemed like so far-fetched, because people you don't hear about this kind of stuff happening. All right. But it happened to me because my body was literally rejecting what I was trying to put back into it. All right. So now I'm working with food. That's the next addiction, the next layer. That was the first layer. And now that I've peeled back all the other layers, that's the final layer. And it's like, what's under that is actually the final layer, right? And that's what I'm coming up to right now. And the reason that I'm sharing with this is that I see that people are also struggling with substance issues, addiction. And remember, addiction comes in many forms. We are a society that is programmed to be addicts, right? The programming begins when we incarnate into this body, right? Our DNA has been altered so that we're correcting this right now. That's what the ascension process is all about, right? But our DNA was altered so that we forgot who we were completely. So that we felt completely disconnected from source. Many, by free will choice, not even believing in source anymore, right? So that wound of separation creates that endless void inside of us that society trains us to fill with stuff, right? Whether this is food, sex, love, substances, cars, money, like you name it, knowledge, right? So many different things that we're taught to fill that endless hole with. All right. Forgetting that the one thing that we have this illusion of being separated from is the only thing that can fill that void. And that is our own spirit and the source that our spirit comes from, that our spirit is ultimately one with, even though it doesn't remember it. All right. So addiction is that wound, the intensification of that wound of separation, and the ways that we choose to fill that void. All right. We all have different ways that we experience that. And it's all has to do with giving our power away to something outside of ourselves, right? That's another level of what addiction is. It's giving our power away to something outside of ourselves. And moving through these layers and these levels of addiction helps us to reunite with our truth, with our own sovereignty. But there's ups and downs within that process. There's nuances to it, right? And, I want people to know that they're not alone with that. That's why I share some pieces of my own story, my own struggles with that, because nobody is alone in that regard. This is a wound, a great wound of humanity. An addiction in its more identifiable aspects is one of the greatest symptoms of that wound, but it can be healed, right? And that's what this energy is giving us an opportunity to do. This is that reparenting aspect of the Capricorn Cancer axis. It's giving us that opportunity to give ourselves that love and compassion, that grace, but also provide that structure and those boundaries for ourselves. To really tap into and get connected with our own soul again, with our purpose for being here. All right, the things that I learned, you know, when I was in 12-step recovery for many years, very, very heavily involved in 12-step. I have nothing but love for 12-step because it really was a beautiful tool for me. And I have some really great memories there, right? One thing that I learned through that, and then all of my spiritual wanderings and all the different ways that I have experienced my own recovery and my own relationship with myself and all these outer manifestations of energy, right? All these different tools to fill the void, is that the true cure for addiction, because addiction is above all else, it's a consciousness, right? And it is, like we said, a symptom of that wound of separation. Connection is the cure. Connection and purpose. When we feel a connection and we have a purpose, that overrides that energy. And when we remember and reconnect to our own spirit, right? When I was in 12-step, I did a lot of service. That was how I connected to my purpose, helping another addict stay clean. That to me gave me that sense of purpose. As I continued to move along my journey, I found different ways to be of service, right? Whether it was through all the different things that I offer. And if anyone wants assistance, I do so many things. And when I say I do, I mean we do. All right? Because the only true healing is self-healing. Anybody who offers you Reiki, or, you know, I do as well as teach a Belvespita, angelic healing of the heart, entity removal, past life regression, hypnosis, quantum healing, all of these different things. Check out my website if you're interested in booking a session with me. It's all about people realizing that the other person isn't the healer. You are the healer. We are all self-healers. The only true healing is self-healing. And anybody who offers to practice a modality for you on your behalf should be doing it with you in order to get the greatest results, involving you in that process as heavily as possible, and really emphasizing the fact that they're just creating the doorway, holding the space for you to begin the process of self-healing. My greatest goal and mission on this planet is to help people remember and reconnect to the beauty and the truth of who they are. And through that process, regain their sovereignty, their self-respect, and their self-worth. And disconnect from the false matrix. Reconnecting with their own divinity. That's what I'm here for. That's where my service has led me to at this point. And right now, it's through a whole lot of self-mastery. Right? Spirit's asking me to step my own game up in my own healing journey. And a lot of us are in this place right now. This is what this full moon is really highlighting, where we're being asked to step it up in our own journey, so that we can then play the part that our soul came here to play. And by play the part, I simply mean serve our purpose. Because yes, it's about us, but it's also about the collective. It really, truly is at this point. We're all in this together. And it's really important. That's a big message that Spirit wants to emphasize right now. With all the division, with all the distractionary tactics going on within the media right now, with all the rebellion in the air, right? And all of the catalyzation of energies, which is all serving to push people into their sovereignty, right? Everything that's going on right now is serving to push people into their sovereignty. But with all that going on, Spirit really wants to emphasize and remind us that we're in this together. Me, you, and every other soul on this planet, right? We're all at different levels of awakening. We're all at different levels of our journeys. We all have our own demons. And we all work with those demons at our own pace. And I say work with those demons because what are our demons except repressed aspects of our own psyche, of our own energy, that are seeking liberation, that are seeking integration, acknowledgement. So just give everybody a little bit of grace right now. Have patience for people where they're at. Everyone's at a different level of this experience. It doesn't make anybody any better or less than anybody else. Just means that we are in different points of our journey. The most dangerous thing within a spiritual community is when we get to this point where we think we know everything and we start to see ourselves as separated, see a hierarchy where we place ourselves above other people. It's really easy to do that, right? When we look at the people we deem unawakened, right? The sheeple, however you want to call it. There's so many words that people use that they don't even fully realize are full of arrogance and serve only to separate, right? Somebody used a great analogy. I can't remember who it was the other day when they were talking about when they get woken up and how when they were in a deep sleep a lot of times and somebody would wake them up, how angry they would get. And just like using that metaphor, people who are still deeply asleep, like imagine how you would feel if you were in that deep, restful sleep and somebody came and just started shaking you. And that's what a lot of people in the spiritual community, when they start to awaken, that's what they think their purpose is to shake everybody else awake, right? Like that is what's necessary. And that's what's going to be helpful. That doesn't help anybody. I don't know about you, but I'm not in too much of a mood to listen. I'm not feeling too compassionate. I'm not feeling too open when somebody wakes me up like that, right? How much kinder would it be if somebody just crawled into bed beside you, rubbed your back gently, you know, allowed you to wake up, had a nice cup of coffee sitting there, a cup of tea. You know what I mean? Like, how much of a nicer wake up is that? I think a lot of people in the spiritual community, they feel like they need to get a bullhorn and just start screaming in people's ears, right? Like nobody's going to be receptive to that. All right. So just remember that. And just remember, some people take longer to wake up than others. Me, I have gotten a lot better. People used to be terrified to wake me up. Literally, like if I was sleeping, that was my happy place. Do not disturb me or else kind of an energy. All right. I'm no longer like that. You know, I'm much gentler, especially now that I have a child and everything, you know what I mean? But it takes me a good couple hours to feel like I'm fully capable of interacting with the world. All right. I'm a slow waker. All right. Some people are slower than that. It's what is more important and more impactful is simply holding compassion for others and allowing them to be wherever they are without judging where they should be, thinking they should be further. And why do we do that to them? Because we do it to ourselves. So a good way to practice no longer doing that to other people is to start working on ourselves, no longer doing that to ourselves. Can I be more loving to myself? Can I be more accepting of where I'm at? All right. I think we can probably pull a few cards. What do you guys think? I'm going to go through and just read some of the comments here before we get started with the reading. I think this is a good halfway point. Let's see. I see Ashley on there. Hello, beautiful. And I stole that analogy, that sleeping analogy. Like I said, I can't remember who was talking about it. So I would give credit if I remembered. It was also a mother. So but it was spot on. You know what I mean? I embellished a little bit with the bullhorn and the, but yeah. But you guys, it works, right? It's a good way to kind of put things into reference, to really understand this energy and have more compassion for that process. Hello, Mariah. Hello, Nick. Love my Scorpios. Hello, Ashley. Hello, Michael. Hello. Yes. Oh my God. That sounds amazing, Mariah. Yeah, I always limit myself by saying, well, it's not possible to have a nice, relaxing morning like that with a toddler. You know what I mean? But I could still create a better ritual for myself than what I do. And that is something that I do that is on my on my list, we'll put it that way, of the ways that I would like to support myself more is through more relaxing, more intentional mornings. We'll put it that way. Amber, hello, beautiful. Hello, Russ. I saw you commenting, as I'm sure you could probably tell. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I am sending you a digital hug. I have been this whole time. I'm sure you felt it. Yeah. JT. I don't know if JT's still here or not. It's funny though. All right. Anybody else? Linda. Really scrolling through here. Hello, Matt. Sending you all so much love. Asalamni. Asalmani. That's a cool name. Hello, Danielle. Gemini. Oh, honey, yeah. It's going to be, I mean, I'm a Taurus sun. So we just got finished with our Uranus transit. Gemini, you guys, you're just getting started. I mean, Taurus is completing it this year, so we're both going through it. But it's going to be interesting for sure. Yeah. Holy Cat. It's Holy Cat was asking for Annika. On Annika's Facebook. Oh yeah, good job with the boundaries there. Oh, that's funny. Hello, by the way, though. Holy Cat. Yeah. So what? Larry. Yeah. Ty's on here. Stevie, Lauren, Trail of Tears. Watchdog. Hello, everyone. Miranda, I think I said hello to you already. All right. We've done our lows. I just wanted to make sure that everybody felt seen. Gemini. Linda's a Gemini sun too. All right. I love my Geminis. I got my Venus and my Lilith in Gemini and my Chiron too. So I've got that whole Gemini Sagittarius axis is pretty action packed in my chart. So I get along well with Geminis. I'm very, very, very mutable and changeable myself, I guess we could say. That's like the kind way of saying that. Fickle would be the other way that I would put it. Geminis are fun though. All right, Moonology, here we go. Yeah. So I always love Gemini season. Particularly when Venus is moving through Gemini. I love when Venus is moving through Gemini because then I get my Venus return. So July 7th, Cancer. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, my son was born the day before you. You're a 7/7 portal, baby. If you want a reading, Russ, get a hold of me. I do private readings, and I can work out all different types of things depending on what you need for a reading. Clear. All right, but this is going to be a reading on the full moon in Capricorn right now. But just know that I am tapping into everybody's energy who's watching this now and who's going to be watching this on the replay. So it's very likely that some of your energies are going to be participating. And I don't always say, actually, hi Lindsay, I don't always say this, but I am going to say it right now. I should say it more. Set your intentions. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you're wanting to know, or just that you're desiring to get more clarity on, set that intention for this reading. You guys are influencing the energy of this reading. And remember, time is fluid. It's not linear the way we've been trained to think. So even if you're watching this on the replay, if you set those intentions, you may get your answer within the cards if you're meant to receive some type of answer or confirmation at this time. So set those beautiful intentions right now. Also, make sure that you've liked the live stream and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, honestly, because when you do these things, it creates more of an energetic connection. And it helps me to pick up on your energy more. So even when I do recorded readings and things like that, the more energetically invested you are in the channel, the more that is going to translate, and I'm going to be able to pick up on your energy when I do the divination and the reading portion. Hello, soul, what? But yeah, I do also, Russ, I do galactic charts, so you can look at your fixed stars, you can look at the planetary, we can go over the planetary alignments in your chart, the super cosmic points, as well as the traditional astrology stuff. So if you are looking for a natal chart reading, and I would be so excited, especially to do a 7-7 baby, because that's going to be a great chart. And you probably have the sun conjunct Sirius, or pretty damn close to it, with the 7-7 birthday as well. All right, let's see. What do we need to know about this? Okay, all right, Spirit. I mean, we're gonna get. Oh, and I pulled. We want the traditional moonology. Here we go. We're gonna pull a couple moonology cards, and then we're going to pull some tarot to clarify. That's how Spirit wants us to go about this. So that's what we're gonna do. All right, clear. Full moon in Capricorn. And whatever other fuckery is going on as we move through the week. What do we need to know? What do the people watching this, now we're on the replay, have to know? Need to know now. I love that, Russ. And I love that you mentioned 777 too, because 777, 222, 2022, and 444 have been following me around everywhere. I don't know what numbers you guys have been hearing or noticing lately. Let me know in the chat or the comments. Full moon in Capricorn. What do we need to know? Surrender to the divine. That's that full moon energy, the full moon card right there. I don't know. Does anyone know? Is this a super moon? I always slack off when it comes to the astronomy portion of this. If somebody knows, let me know. I know we just had a super moon, so I feel like, although, doesn't it feel like every moon is a super moon? And we have so many super moons, it almost doesn't seem like worth mentioning anymore, but maybe it is. I don't know. You guys tell me. Oh yeah, numbers are sources language. The world is everything is written in code in one sense. Yeah. Full buck moon. Love it. The buck moon, yes, but super moons. So a super moon is when the moon tends to appear closer to the earth. So it seems bigger and it kind of amplifies the energy as well. Mariah. All right, let's see what. No, that's way too many cards, Spirit. What do we have? We have the new moon card on here too. New start is coming though, so I think that's interesting. And it's still on the bottom of the deck. So that right there is like a mouthful, right? A new start is coming. All you're being asked to do is surrender. You don't have to work anything out. You don't have to figure anything out. Simply surrender to the process, surrender to the divine, and allow the miracles to unfold. That's it. That's all we got to do. And I know for a Capricorn full moon, the Capricorn aspect, the Saturn aspect of this energy is like, oh my God, we got to do something, right? I was drafting an email for my email list, and hopefully I'll get it sent out. If I don't finish them and send them right away, sometimes I'm getting better with that. It's all progress, not perfection, right? That's something we used to say in 12-step. But anyway, I was talking about the energy of like the full moon in Capricorn, right? And that interplay between the Cancer and Capricorn energies. And how the Cancer energy is the homebody who just wants to like relax and chill and stay at home. It's in its safe space. Whereas the Capricorn energy is like, yeah, but what do you think puts a roof over their head? Where do you think that home comes from? It comes from getting up and getting out there in the world. From getting to work, right? So it's kind of like those interplays of energies. So the Capricorn full moon, that guidance to simply surrender to the divine. Capricorn, so a highly evolved Capricorn knows how to do that, however, because remember, we said Capricorn energy is about working smarter, not harder. So Capricorn energy is like, I know how to utilize my energy. Remember, Cancer Capricorn axis, balance of the masculine and feminine. I know how to create from both my masculine and my feminine. I know when to take action and when to sit back and allow things to unfold. I know how to take inspired action. All right, and that's this Neptune in Aries energy is very much about that inspired action. But it's learning how to identify that inspired action and work within that. All right. So it's like, stop trying. So this is like, stop trying to control in the sense of like, still be productive, you know, whatever that means to you. But at the same time, like, stop trying to micromanage. Stop trying to hold on to what isn't serving you anymore. Get out of the way so that your higher self, so that spirit can serve up the good stuff. All right. We have full moon in Gemini. The answers are coming. Then we've got be bold and make the first move and show the world the real you. And remember, the full moon in Gemini will be in Sagittarius season. So for some people, that's an interesting energy, right? We had the new moon in Gemini recently. That full moon in Gemini, there may be a full circle energy for some people. I'm feeling into this for a second. Give me a minute, guys. I feel like this is somebody that I'm picking up on here. Somebody who's maybe a little bit early in their awakening process, or they've reached another level of their awakening process. And there are some really deep questions coming up. Some things that you're really seeking to understand. And I feel like this particularly pertains to things happening in your reality. I'm feeling dreams, hopes, dreams, desires that have gone unfulfilled, or situations or circumstances that have just not been working out the way that you thought they would, or the way that you would imagine they would in a loving universe. So this is somebody who's really seeking to understand, like, why? Why is this happening? Why am I experiencing this? Why am I feeling this? Why does this have to be so hard? Right? And so when we ask these questions, a great follow-up question to that, as we begin to step into this ownership of our power as creators, is, why am I creating this? What am I here to learn? What can be gained? What is the advantage to this situation? From a soul's point of view, right? We got to go with the soul's point of view if we really want to understand, right? Because our soul's point of view is totally different from our human's point of view. That's that North Node in Pisces energy, seen from the soul's point of view. Because remember, and this is where I get into it with my higher self sometimes, right? I get feisty with my higher self. I don't know about you guys, because I'm like, it's the soul's point of view. The harder, the better, right? The more challenges, the better, because that's where we're really growing, right? But the soul is only experiencing it through this little spark, that little spark, right, of itself. It's not really the one down here having the experience. So it's like, from the soul's perspective, trauma and drama is great because that's the stuff that fuels the fires of growth and transformation. But from the human's perspective, that shit sucks. There's really no other way to say it. You know what I mean? So if we're trying to understand the meaning and the point of a situation or circumstance, we're never going to fully understand it from the human point of view. Right? Because from the human point of view, nobody wants to be betrayed. Nobody wants to be lied to. Nobody wants to be abused. Nobody wants any of these things, right? To feel like they're failing. But from the soul's point of view, that stuff is gold. All right? So that's where we have to be with all of this, is we have to understand that. We have to seek to understand from the soul's point of view, from the higher point of view. How is this serving me? How is having my heart broken again serving me? Right? Some of my greatest teachers when it came to self-love were the ones that didn't love me at all or couldn't love me. Sometimes, remember, they say the cracks are how the light gets in, right? Everything is serving us somehow. And we've talked about this before too. We're going to get into a little bit of like neuroscience and stuff like that too, all right? Sometimes it's serving us from a different type of perspective. Our brain becomes addicted to the chemicals that get produced through certain states of being, certain emotions. And they don't have to be good ones, right? This is why people get addicted to chaos, to drama, to disappointment. It's because their brain is addicted to the rush of chemicals and neurotransmitters that are produced when they experience different emotions. Stress. People's brains get addicted to stress. And so your brain literally starts lighting up and asking for a hit when it hasn't received that emotion in a while, when it hasn't received that cascade of chemicals. Your brain gets addicted to these negative states of being. So it sends out the trigger, right? Which is similar to, you know, like when you have parasites, this is another example that I'm being called to use. When we have parasites, they're living organisms within our bodies, and they feed off of sugar. They feed off of like simple carbohydrates. So they'll send cravings out when they're hungry. And we'll think that we're craving the donut, but it's really our parasites, right? It's the same kind of idea. Our brain is craving that hit from those negative emotions. So it sends that craving out, and we go looking to create those circumstances, right? This is why we energetically draw in people that are going to give us that roller coaster ride of emotion, because we know they're going to be good for our addiction. Okay, so it's like, it's serving us on that level. It's serving us on a chemical level. It's serving the old stories that we maybe hold within ourselves still of what we're worthy of what relationships look like if we're looking at like the person, right? If we're addicted to those people that cause that chaotic energy within us, all right, those circumstances. So we're always seeking that out without knowing it. We're energetically drawing that to us, all right? So in that regard, it's serving us because there's a part of us that still needs or wants or desires that, right? There's so many different levels of how things are serving us. And so it's like looking at it from each level. And then it comes to understanding, how can I serve the same need in a more beneficial way? Or how can I heal the wound that this is still serving so that is no longer necessary anymore? Right? There's just so many avenues to this. All right, but it's really looking at that. It's seeing everything from the higher perspective. That's what Spirit wants you to do. That's what your higher self wants you to do in this situation where you're looking for these answers. The answers will become much more clear once you begin to do this. Now, moving forward from there, there's more energy coming through here with these two cards. Got Aquarius energy here and cardinal energy, right? So this is Aries energy is really what I'm thinking of, but this is also Cancer, Capricorn, and this is the Capricorn full moon, right? It's this energy of having the courage to be who you truly are. For some people, I'm literally, there's the phrase that's coming through is having the courage to lay all your cards on the table. So for some people, this is about asking for what you need. This is about making your feelings or your intentions clear in a situation. My brain is so weird the way it works sometimes. I thought the Clarity Act in my mind, but that's actually an act that, or a legislature that's moving through Congress right now related to cryptocurrency. I don't know why. Just came to mind, the Clarity Act. But it's that act of creating that clarity for yourself first and foremost, and then for other people as well. And this is something that I learned, or I had to learn within my own relationships and connections, was in order to be clear about what I wanted with other people, I had to first get clear on it with myself. In order to be clear about my feelings, with others, I first had to get clear about my feelings with myself. Right? Emotional honesty. I was emotionally dishonest first and foremost with myself, which then led me to be emotionally dishonest with everybody else, which then set me up for infinite hurt and disappointment. So for some people, it's about that. It's about something, people watching this right now, many of you watching this, there's something you've been wanting to do, but you've been afraid to do it because you were afraid of what other people were going to think. You're afraid of people judging you. Perhaps you are afraid of failing publicly, or just putting yourself out there in some way that you weren't sure if you were ready for. But this is saying it's time. Whatever it is that you have been desiring to do, this is the time to take action. Whatever you're wanting to do, it's going to reveal a different side of you. It's going to show an aspect of who you are that maybe you've hidden from other people, or maybe you've only revealed to a selective few up until this point. So it's kind of like the energy of, you know, when they talk about like standing out in front of the class naked, it's going to feel like that type of energy for some people. But the amount of freedom that you're going to receive when you take off the mask, when you pursue something that really fuels you and lights you up, is going to be worth whatever temporary discomfort there is for whatever judgments of other people. The only time other people's judgment affects us is when we're secretly judging ourselves. As soon as we drop the self-judgment, the judgments of other people don't matter anymore. You know, there are so many rude comments and it's honestly not that as many as you would expect being on social media, but I definitely get them. You know, Annika cleans them up pretty well in the chat now. You know, I get them on videos sometimes as well, not as often. Mostly it's amazing people that are drawn to this channel, right? We're a soul tribe, but it happens. The only ones that ever really bother me are when it hits on an insecurity that I still harbor about myself. When you put yourself out there on social media or anywhere in any regard, you open yourself up to that, but you really give yourself an opportunity to see where your wounds are. Because other people will mirror them back to you through the things that they say and the judgments that they make about you. But at the end of the day, if it's a judgment I no longer have about myself, then it doesn't stick. You know what I mean? I just send love and compassion. And I just remember that phrase, right? Hurt people hurt people. You know, the people who post mean comments on social media are people who are like, you think they're being mean to you? Imagine how mean they are to themselves. That's what we have to think about, you know. All right. We're going to pull a little tarot to clarify here. Maybe we'll clarify what this move is that somebody's wanting to make. Clear. For some people, I feel like this is being more authentic in a relationship or connection. For some people, this is like a business endeavor. For some people, this is like you want to be on social media or you want to start a business or something. For some people, this is just like you want to start showcasing your weirdness a little more, being more open about the weird aspects of yourself, which are really the greatest aspects, right? My mentor, Glenn Jones, he used to always say that one of the definitions of weird was godlike. Let that sink in. So that's what I think of when I hear the word weird. All right, so we have the Four of Pentacles with the Ace of Coins, and they came out like this. So this is going from a scarcity complex to an abundance complex. This is going from no options to the option. All right. This is very much the energy of coming out of lack. I already said that, right? Lack to abundance, but it's just really being emphasized here. With the stag energy, this is very Carnunos energy whenever I see this. Springtime, masculine energy, right? Divine masculine energy. Russ, I like that, occasionally channeling divinity. Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Be weird, you guys. Let your freak flag fly. Oh, I love that. I love that that was echoed in the chat. The feral elf. That's perfect. I love that. And I love you. I wasn't sure if the feral elf, I don't think that's D. I think that's somebody else. I saw you really being supportive in the chat, so thank you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate not only everyone being supportive of each other in the chat, of me in the chat, but also of each other. It's really beautiful. Yeah, perfect synchronicity, exactly. All right, we got faith on the bottom of the deck here. Okay, so it's something about having faith in yourself, having faith in your dreams. I feel like some of the people that I'm reading for right now, you've really been working on moving out of this scarcity complex, moving out of this energy of lack, this fear of not having enough or not being enough, right? Very interconnected, those two things. This is Sun and Capricorn energy here. For some of you, I feel like it's almost like an opportunity that you thought was going to present itself that never came through, or that was like retracted. Like an offer that was taken away, or something that you felt was meant for you that never materialized is what I'm feeling here as well for some. And Spirit's saying, keep having faith. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your dreams. If you've been working through energies of lack, if you've been working on abundance, if you've been working on self-love and self-worth, this is your message that it's working. Whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's belief work, whether it's tapping, whether it's like just somatic movement, right? Whether it's ritual, whether it's whatever it is, it's working. It's working. This message has been coming through for so long. Honestly, so long, it's probably super annoying. I know it's annoying for me, so I'm sure it's annoying for you all too, because we're all one collective here. So what I'm experiencing, you're experiencing as well. Right? I'm not here teaching you things that I already mastered. I'm teaching you things that I'm in the process of mastering. Right? We're teaching each other. So trust me, I'm as sick of hearing this as you guys probably are, but it is what's coming through is don't give up yet. You're so close. So close. It hasn't trickled down into the physical yet. But this is the time. Uranus and Gemini is the time. It is where the timelines become so fluid that you could literally wake up in a completely different reality tomorrow. Where all of a sudden, everything, all the internal shifting, like it all coalesces at once. I mean, obviously, this is like my human mind kicking back in. You know what I mean? Like my linear mind being like, obviously there'll have to be some type of transition. You know what I mean? Like we're not going to go to bed, in Ohio and wake up in, Las Vegas, or wake up in Peru. You know what I mean? Like there'll have to be some type of transition. But you know what I mean? It's like your life could change on a dime. Think about, this is what Spirit wants us to think about, because Spirit knows that I had some resistance in delivering that message because my human mind is trying to figure out how it could be real. So Spirit knows if I had resistance delivering it, there's probably a lot of people that had resistance receiving it. So Spirit wants us all to stop here and think about one choice or decision that we made that changed the entire trajectory of our lives. How easy was that to change? That's a timeline. That's a timeline shift. We made a choice. That choice created a brand new timeline. That's all it is. That's all it is. But instead of it being one choice or decision that we're making, it's a series of little choices and decisions that help to lift and shift our frequency, that help to shift our belief systems and what it is that we think we're capable of. So the timeline shift isn't just us waking up in a brand new reality in the very literal sense. It's waking up and receiving that phone call that changes everything, receiving that offer, right? Having that chance encounter that's not really chance because we've set it up through the shifting of our vibration. And then the cascade of events that ensues after that, right? That's all it is. So it's woo-woo, but it's not really, right? There's a sense to it. We're making it too complicated is what Spirit's saying. Like, stop overcomplicating everything. That's where that surrender energy comes in. All right. Speaking of offers, opportunities. Got the Ace of Wands here. Six of Cups. This is like inspiration that reaches all the way back to childhood. Inspiration that lights up our own inner child. That makes us feel young again. That's the energy here. Spirit's saying you're about to feel young again. Regardless of what age you are. If you're watching this channel, it doesn't matter what your chronological age is, right? You felt older than you were. You know, like this is a channel full of old souls, as we would call them, right? Even if this is your first lifetime on earth, this ain't your first rodeo, multidimensionally speaking, all right? So it's that energy of like we felt like we were old from the moment we came out of the womb. You know what I mean? Like if you guys are anything like me, you know what I mean? Like we were world weary by the age of 5. All right. So it's this energy of regardless of your chronological age, you are about to feel young again. You are about to be renewed. You are about to be, I heard rediscovered. But what I think that really means is like you are about to rediscover aspects of yourself that you don't even remember you lost. It's like we talk about innocence a lot, right? Like the loss of innocence, the loss of hope, the loss of optimism, loss of faith. Some of us remember these moments. You know what this is reminding me of right now? I don't know how many of you ever saw the movie Dogma. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. So in the movie Dogma, they have a conversation. I forget who's having the conversation. But they're talking about the moment that they lost their faith. For some reason, that scene's coming into my mind right now. And some people remember. Some people don't. But there was a moment when that happened. Maybe a series of moments. And some of us, it's like we've been feeling old and world weary for so long, we don't even remember that we ever felt, we'll use young for lack of a better word, right? Rejuvenated. We don't ever remember that. It's like it never even existed. You are about to recover what you didn't even know you lost. And when you do, there are no words for how beautiful, how liberating, how delicious that is going to feel. This is beautiful. I think that's the most beautiful reading I have ever given. honestly. If you could just take a moment to tap into the energy of that. This is so exciting. Yes, Sophie. Yes, Sophie says, I'm ready to receive. Exactly. Yes, I am open to receive. All right. I think it's super corny and just honestly, it feels like a way for people to get more comments on their videos and stuff when they say, type it in the chat. But honestly, if you want to affirm that, say it out loud to yourself right now. Type it in the chat if you want to. I am open to receive all of the blessings that are meant for me. Make your own phrase up, right? I am open to receive. That's the crux of it. I love that I feel ancient and brand new at the same time. Hello to everyone who's hopped on since I did shout outs last. Clear. I am open to receive. That's a lot of what this Cancer season is all about, learning how to be receptive. Tapping into that divine feminine energy that we all carry within us. Worthiness is a big part of that, right? This is interesting. So what Spirit's saying is working with worthiness. One of the ways that we can do this as far as following the energies where they're going is by working with where Venus is. And I want to teach this. This is actually something that I want to create for people, is teaching people how to tap into these energies with their natal Venus. But Spirit's showing how we can do this with transiting Venus as well. So it's like right now, if we're working on worthiness, because Venus represents our worthiness, right? Self-love. It's how we love, but it's also what we value and how we value ourselves. So look with Gemini right now. We can use some of that Gemini energy. Venus just entered Gemini on the 5th, the night of the 4th, I think, after she came into conjunction with Uranus. So this is through exploring, right? Through becoming more open-minded, through our curiosity, satisfying our curiosity, through playfulness, right? This childlike energy, embracing our inner child, through being inquisitive, through sharing information and knowledge, through learning more, right? Expanding our minds, through conversation, heart-centered conversation with others. These are all ways that we can build up our self-worth when Venus is within the sign of Gemini. Got the Chariot, Cancer energy coming through here. Looks like Neptune though, doesn't it? That's what this reminds me of. Although, who drove the Chariot? It wasn't Neptune. Was it Mercury? That would be appropriate, right? Talking about Gemini energy. Oh, this is interesting. I'm feeling this energy of dream time for somebody. This is dream time, or this is somebody, like, I'm getting the energy of like a hypnosis session. Like I do like the past life regression sessions with people. It's something with something that you saw in a dream or like in a hypnosis session. There's like a significance here coming through. So this is like somebody remembering something that you saw through a dream, through a premonition, through a hypnosis session. So this is definitely a past life energy, right? Because that's what we would see during a hypnosis, during a regression session at least. You're going to see, this very specific message. You're going to see, it's like I'm really being drawn to this tower here. You're going to see something from that vision in real life. And when you see this thing from your vision, what happens then, Spirit? It feels like a moment of integration between timelines, between realities. It feels like a remembrance that happens at the time. It feels like a soul retrieval maybe, or something important. Something like pay attention to what's going on at that time, to who you're around. Because there's something really powerful in that. If this was a premonition for somebody, it's like when you see that thing that you saw in your vision, it's a sign that whatever you had the premonition about is about to occur. We've got the Hermit coming out here with the Palace of Coins. This is our closing message here. The palace exists within. Go within to find your fortune. Go within to find your fame. The palace exists within. It's all within you, right? Stop trying to look outside. Go deeper within. Somebody, you've been seeking something, and that something that you've been seeking, it's like, it's as simple as meditating, committing to meditating lately. You will receive the insights that you're looking for. Remember we saw the answers card at the beginning here? You will receive the answers. Some of you guys are being called to go on some type of psychedelic vision as well. I'm seeing those. These look like the Amanita mushrooms. I don't know if any of you have ever, I watched like a couple shows about that on like Netflix or something, the mushroom documentaries. It's like a specific type that takes you into your shadow. That's something Amanita. Some of you guys might need to go on a plant medicine journey. There's wisdom to be found there. But you don't need that, right? All you need is a quiet place to sit, close your eyes and breathe. That's it. Center into your heart. I thought there was going to be like more that came out with that, but that's all Spirit wants to say. The palace is within. Everything that you are seeking is within. It's reminding me of that phrase, go within or go without. The seeking, the energy of seeking. When we are seeking, we are doomed to forever seek. When we realize that we had all along that which we were looking for, you guys know what I'm trying to say. It's not coming through in words, but there's a transmission that's occurring for those who are open to receive it right now. The transmission is saying what my muggle mind is having difficulty delivering. So just receive that. That's for you. This is how we're going to communicate in the future, right? As telepathy. Telepathy, it doesn't happen in words, right? It's energetic transmissions, transmissions of truth, transmissions of frequency. So just receive that. Once you stop seeking, you shall find. Because everything that you were looking for, it's already within. enter the palace within, and you enter the palace without. This moon is all about connecting to that palace within. Now, I have to ask Alessandro, you said this last time as well. You really want me to fight a gorilla, huh? But what is this, 100 of me versus one gorilla? So you think it would take 100 of me to what's happening with this gorilla? Am I fighting this gorilla, and why am I fighting this gorilla? This is a second live stream where you've said that. So I'm just really curious right now. And you have like, typically you're not just a random person that says strange comments. So I feel like there has to be something like, I'm interested to understand what the context of that question is. Oh, thank you, Russ. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here with us. I hope you subscribed, because I'd love to see you on more live streams. Feral Elf, it was wonderful to have you here too. I hope to see you more as well. Creamy, it's great to see you. Prune, of course. Jason. And yes, the full moon is tomorrow. 4:37 p.m. I think it is in Eastern Daylight Time. I love that, Russ. I always talk about the tapestry that we create as we weave our energy together. So I love that you use that analogy of the tapestry. Russ. Yeah, Russ, I did want to say something about that too. And well, first actually, Larry, because this is going to be quicker. So if you're a rock star in your dreams, that means you are a rock star in another dimension. So you're just tapping into another dimension of yourself. Now, Russ, that definitely, I can see how that is disconcerting when your dreams seem more vivid than reality. That feels like an ascension symptom to me. For lack of a better term, we always throw around words like that, right? Ascension symptom. It just seems like you're tapping into so you're becoming less entrenched in the false matrix is what I'm feeling. So this reality is becoming less emphasized, because you're disconnecting from it, which is a good thing. Obviously, we need to stay tapped enough into reality that we're able to function. We're able to do the things that we need to do, right? Address the things that we need to address, right? There is a level that we need to stay plugged in and grounded, right? But it's like, that's not where the focus is. And you are more active within your dream state, just because that's where your consciousness is more needed right now. And it's like this world is fading out. The new world is fading in. So it would make sense, particularly if like there are certain moments where you're tapped into more of the 5D consciousness where things get more vivid. And when it comes to like the daily drudgery or like the lower vibrational energy where it seems more like, you know what I mean? Humdrum. Because your energy isn't invested. Ooh, Spirit's saying, oh, this is interesting. You're unplugging from the false matrix. So what that means is you're not feeding it with your energy anymore, and you're cutting those energetic cords. So as you're doing this, it becomes less vivid, because you're no longer tapped into and anchored into that energy anymore, and you're no longer anchoring that energy. So your soul is playing in other realms and other energies more. I feel like you could be beginning to tap into also like abilities to lucid dream, dream walking. different things like that. So those may be areas that you might want to pursue. I feel like you could find a lot of success with that. And those are some of your natural gifts that might be beginning to open up. Like, because your gifts are opening up and you have gifts within those traveling to those other realms, that that's why that's more vivid, because you're supposed to be exploring that and giving that more of your attention and focus right now. And if you want any, like I said, if you want to do a set up a reading or anything, absolutely get a hold of me. My information's in the description box. And I want to say hi to Celeste as well, because I saw Celeste in there, I believe. You guys are all amazing. I love you so much. Thank you all for being here. And I look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday, same-ish time. I moved it a little bit. I had to adjust it from 2 o'clock to 2:22. I didn't think anyone would mind. But yeah, it'll be around 2 o'clock. Just look up, I set up the live stream beforehand so you know exactly what time it's going to be. You're all so beautiful. I appreciate you so much. Denial of your own timeline. Hey. Bye, Linda. Hi and bye. Stevie. Oh, Stevie's been hanging with us the whole time. Love it. Sending love there for the passing, transitioning, as we like to say, of your father. My father transitioned when I was very young. That's a hard one, no matter what age you are. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes too, when we have a loved one pass, it's almost like that kind of cracks open some area within our heart center that begins opening up our psychic gifts too. So that could be a reason why your gifts are coming in more strongly right now. And you're feeling more disconnected. So just make sure you really ground yourself in your day-to-day. That's going to help. And be really mindful when you are present in your reality. If you start feeling like you're kind of like tapping out, tap back in by noticing the sensations, by working with senses, right? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you hear? You know, and just work on practicing mindfulness and just being rooted and grounded in the present moment. And play around in your other realms, right? Because that's where what your soul's wanting to do right now. Make sure you set your Merkaba, your 8-pointed star. You sit in the center. It's really, really important for astral traveling. That's part of your energy body. It's your spiritual protection. Yeah. And give yourself time to heal. You know, some of that could be disassociation and just kind of like tapping out if there's too much pain. You know what I mean? Let it come in waves. That's how grief comes, at least in my experience. It's waves. It hits you all of a sudden, knocks you off your feet. And if you're able to, if you're in a situation where you can just let yourself feel it, it'll move through you like a wave. Yeah. You are loved. You are loved. You are all so loved. If nobody else told you today, let me be the one to tell you that. You are loved. You are seen. You are recognized. And you are so fucking worthy. Don't let anybody tell you different, even for an instant, least of all yourself. Right? The light in me honors the light in you. Because I am merely a reflection of that light. You called me into your reality today to reflect that beautiful light back to you. To reflect your own truth, your own divinity back to you. So thank you for allowing me to do that. That's right. That's right. And that brings us back to clearing the energy, right? Feral Elf, how important that is. Let those waves, let that light wash over you, cleanse you, clear you. Keep working with that clearing the energy, rooting, grounding, clearing. It's so important for all of us right now. All right. I'll talk to you all soon.